All right, so topic 9 is going to be similarity. So we kind of talked about that earlier today. We talked about um, shapes that are the exact same size, on different sides, but the exact same shape. That's what we're going to talk about here. So one of the things that we're going to focus on, and you're going to see a lot of in this chapter, and you guys may already recognize this, is proportions. What is a proportion? A proportion are just two ratios that are equivalent to each other. So this right here is a proportion. If you guys remember when we all did proportions like in middle school, like to solve proportions, you guys would just I don't know what your teacher called it, butterfly? I don't know. Yeah. So you just multiply the corners. So you just do 2 times 6 gives you 12. 3 times 12, let me show the work. So you would do 2 times 6, and then 3 times 4. 2 times 6 gives you 12. 3 times 4 gives you 12. So that's a proportion. This topic will do a lot with proportions. I'm going to kind of go around, look at and focus on some things, which means we're still going to talk about scale factor. You guys remember scale factor? Scale factor is just like what we did in the previous topic. We're still going to do, let's say this is your original, this is your mu. We're still going to follow the same ratio. Mu divided by original or mu divided by old. That doesn't change. Again, similar shapes to me, but they're the exact same shape, different size. So I kind of already showed you that already. So let's kind of move on to the next slide. So for two shapes to be similar, we're going to use this symbol right here. So if you look on the board, kind of like a lazy S, that's the symbol for similarity. So this means that these two shapes right here are the exact same shape, just one's bigger than the other. Things that are important when we talk about similarity is that all the angles are going to be congruent. I don't want to speak too much because some of you, this was actually on your test. When two shapes are the same or they're similar, their angles will be the same. Their sides are going to be proportional. They're going to be multiplied by the same scale factor, what that happens to be. This right here is called a similarity statement. We can still do what we did before. When we did congruency statement, I can just basically look at this right here. Angle A is congruent to angle G. Angle B is congruent to angle H. Angle C is congruent to angle I. And then angle D is congruent to angle J. So you can actually just follow along using a similarity statement to be able to get the following. I kind of talked about this right here when we talk about a proportion. You cross multiply. I kind of did that one already when it came to that. So when you look at something like this, you can use the similarity statement to just kind of pair everything up. Like angle A is congruent to, congruent to angle W. Angle B is congruent to angle X. Angle C is congruent to angle Y, and then angle D is congruent to angle Z. When you're doing your sides, you do the same thing. AB is proportional to WX. It's being multiplied by the same scale factor, what that happens to be. So just remember, when you're talking about similar shapes, the angles are congruent, but the sides are proportional. So this kind of gives you your, it does it for you. It says that the ratio, so on and so on. So let me do these real quick just to show you how do you go about it. So let's say I wanted to determine if these two shapes right here are similar. Well, if I look at the angles are the same on those shapes. So that checks off. So that's a good thing. Okay. Now I need to check that the sides are proportional. So the way I do that is I look at, let me see, the 10 goes with which side over here on the right? What side does it correspond with? The 20 or the 15? The 15, right? So those two go together. And then the 20 corresponds with the 15, right? So you check the ratios. So if I do 10 over 15, that ratio should be equal to 15 over 10. I went left to right. I went that way. So I did 10 to 15, 15 to 20. I can check to see if these are congruent. I can cross multiply. 10 times 20 is 200. 15 times 15 is 225. Those sides are not proportional. That ratio, that proportion doesn't stand. So these two shapes are not similar. Okay? When you look at this shape over here, the angles are the same, so that's a good thing. If I look at just kind of just eyeballing it, notice that the 12 is cut in half, right? So this one is cut in half, this one is cut in half. So this one does hold true all the way around. It's being multiplied by the same scale factor, which is 0.5. So this one, if we go left to right, the scale factor is the same for all of them. So this one has a common ratio. It doesn't matter which two sides you pick. If I do these two right here, that would be 18. It should be mu over O. So it would be 9 over 18, which is 1/2. It doesn't matter which two sides you pick. The ratio is going to be the same going all the way around. I'm not going to go sit here and do all of them, but they do it here. They check all of them. Now they did go right to left. They called this the original, this one the new. If you're taking a test or a quiz, I will specify so you know exactly. This one doesn't tell you which is the new, to the old. I was going left to right. If you're taking a test or a quiz, I will specify so you know exactly which is the new and which is the old. So notice that all these have the same ratio. So this one does work out. All the angles are the same and all the sides are proportional. So those two shapes are similar. And by the way, this right here is your similarity statement right there. That's how you write. So when you're doing your Sabbath homework, if you hear or they're asking, look at the similarity statement. This right here, here's your similar symbol. You're saying that those two shapes are the exact same shape, just a different size. Well, the thing that I want to finish with is how to solve something like this. So this one you're solving two different variables. Okay. I know that the x corresponds with that number there. I know that the y corresponds with the 5. When you get something like this, they're usually going to give you another set of numbers that you can use to help you find x and y. So for this problem right here, I can use the 6 and the 9 to help me find x and to help me find y. So I'm going to use the ratio 6 over 9, because 6 goes with 9, right? I can use this to help me find x. I can now use x, because x would be x over 7. We can just solve it easy. You cross multiply and divide. Notice that when I did this, I went from big shape to small shape, big to small. I'm consistent. When you set up a proportion, make sure you do the same thing. I went from 6 to 9, x to 7.5. I did not go 6 to 9 and then go back the other way, 7.5 to x. Make sure it flows. Make sure you're consistent how you set it up. Anyhow, I can now use the 6 over 9 again to help me find y this time.
So even if you don't know which one's new and old, you want to cut less time.
And this one here, if you don't know what's new to old, it doesn't matter. You could do 9 over 6, 7. It doesn't really matter. It's just be consistent, right? So if I do 6 over 9, then I can do y over 5 on this side. And there you go. There's your two proportions. I'm not going to go over in detail how to solve these, but you just do butterfly. So you would do 7.5 times 6. 9 times x. You multiply 7.6 times 6, and you divide it by 9. That gives you x. Same thing over here. Again, I'm just kind of helping you set this up here. It's going to look a little different if you do the self-paced card deck, but you can kind of get the idea. It's still going to give you the same answer when you're solving it. And then I do want to finish off. Let's skip those word problems. I think I'm rushing myself a little too much. I have more time than I thought. So like this one here, again, just make sure you line everything up. So like x goes with 40, the y goes with 36, and then the 24 and the 20. So for this problem, when you're solving x and y, you want to use the 24 and the 20 to help you find x and to help you find y. So you use the common, and what you can, if you look at this right here, This is kind of like your similarity ratio, the 24 to 20. This is what's going to help you find X and Y because it helps you just have one variable when you're solving that. The one that I do want to talk about is the last one, which is this one right here. How do you solve something like this? Okay. So this one, it's obvious that I think you guys can see that 14 goes with 18, right? And then the 3x goes with that one right there. So I'm going to go, let's do 14 goes with 18. And then 3x goes with. Like that. How do you solve something like that? So you're going to cross multiply, right? We're going to do butterfly just like your awesome teacher did last year. It's going to be 14 times. Everyone got some bad memories?
We did not like.
Somebody didn't like Angelina.
I know. I have about 10 of the assignments.
You're not talking a lot.
I know.
You talk a lot, Ms. Vasquez.
No.
So you look right here, make sure you multiply, you would distribute this 14. You multiply that 14 to both of those terms when you're solving. So be careful when you get something like this. You're going to do 14 times the 4 and the -1. And then here you would multiply the 18 times the 3, right? So you can kind of see it work out right here. It's the same thing. So if you look, pretty much the same thing that I had right there, right? Just look maybe a different order. You do 18 times 3, which gives you 54x. You distribute the 14 in here, and then you get this, and you just solve it out of the problem. The key to this topic is going to be setting up the correct proportion to get you the right answer. So this is a really good homework. Make sure you do it on time. I mean, you do want to focus on topic 8 if you haven't done that yet, but make sure you do it before Tuesday so you're comfortable. Because the proportions that we're going to start doing are going to be a little bit harder as we kind of move on. Okay, so I will post the 9-1 by today or tomorrow, and then again, I know I went through it kind of fast, but I think you guys should be okay with this. There is a self-pace if you want to see it work out. It's going to look better, but I know you guys have done proportions before. There's no like I said, I wouldn't have found this class better than you guys can handle it. Plus, I do have tutoring if you do need it. If you need help, just come visit me, so on and so on. And that's it. I made it.
No, but it's not my fault. Why she didn't like me. It's the counselor's fault. They put all the athletes in her classroom. And so.
Yo, we're buddies.
We're all close. And there was a lot of like the basketball team and the volleyball team.
Oh no.
And so it was like,
This was your math class?
And then she would always get mad at us for talking. And at one point she said thank you, but she was being sarcastic. But I was spaced out. And you know how like naturally you say you're welcome? I did that.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You didn't know Mr. Cannon was.
I was like spaced out, and then she was like getting mad at them, and I heard thank you, and I was like, you're welcome. You see,
You're just a troublemaker, Ms. Vasquez. You're just a troublemaker. Uh-oh.
Teachers, please pardon the interruption. All students who ride the bus must report to the bus loop immediately after school when the bell rings. This is for today only. Regular times will resume tomorrow. Once again, if you ride the bus, report to the bus loop immediately after school. Thank you and have a wonderful afternoon.
Cool. Mr. Kilmer was like, he wasn't a bad teacher, but obviously he was terrible.
But he yelled at us.
He was just very textbook. He didn't like to get off the textbook too much. Like, it was like a club course. It was so bad.
He would be teaching us on the board, and then he'd go, proportion! And then he'd keep doing it, like just yelling.
And if you fell asleep in his class, God forbid, you take the biggest textbook.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Boom! Oh.
what did I get on my test? It's not showing.
I'm sending it back right now.
Okay, thank you.
You did good.
No, my teacher did like PowerPoints, and then she would do a lot of paperwork, and she would be like, so like, my math binder has stacks of paper.
You
And
put
then.
our whole textbook in a math binder. That was our.
No, we had to keep architect sits in her
Do you know what Otis is?
room.
Oh,
All right, guys, those of you at home, you guys have a good day. I am going to close the test out. So if you want to turn it in right before I do that, please do so. You're going to have to retake it. So I'm about to close the test pretty soon here. So, of course you passed.
so annoying. He's like, he would yell like out of nowhere just cause, and then
All right, guys, y'all have a good day. See y'all on Tuesday. Stay out of trouble. Make good decisions. You guys you have a good day too, Ms. Ramirez. Thank you. Ms. Rodriguez, I sent your test back on the Google Forms. I sent your test back on the Google Forms. Hi, Ms. Rodriguez.
Please come to the